Welcome to the Fitty Host Podcast, a show about the challenges of building a new internet. Or is it creating a new internet? I don't know, Victor. Do you remember what the intro is?
Building.
And do you consider yourself to be a builder of the new internet?
I hope so. I think so. Like we're building infrastructure.
Do you think that you're a creator of the new internet?
No. That's a little bit too divine for my own taste.
You think that's a little bit more like Evan, sort of like spiritual leader?
So is Evan like the activity pub like Jesus?
He's like more of a like, follow me across the sea.
He's the Messiah.
We're kind of more like henches.
Disciples.
Yeah, that's the word. Jesus's henches. All right. So one of the great things about the Fediverse, and PeerTube, is you get this old school internet, kind of like videos before everything got so same-ish and algorithmic. You sent me a video recommendation the other day, and I sent you one, and we each watched each other's recommendation.
Yeah.
So I'm very eager to hear what you thought.
I never knew I could be so invested in bottles on a power box in some place in LA.
Do you want to describe like what the documentary was about?
The premise is very simple. There's this like electrical power box next to some, I don't think it's the highway, it's just like some road. And there's always like at least 5 full bottles on them. And then the documentary is about this one guy who sets out to figure out like
who was placing these bottles? Who was the vigilante? Is a different person picking them up?
And there's all these twists and turns. First of all, they buy like trail cameras.
I'm working on a documentary about mysterious piss artists and have been using your cameras in an attempt to communicate with him. Although he keeps stealing them and we ran out of money.
They disguise themselves as like workers and then they go grab some like bottles and they do tests on them. The doctor's like, yeah, it's piss. And then you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And he's super methodical and we never know why.
I finished watching and I was like, I could watch something like this all the time.
Yeah.
I love this. It's so real, human-made, old-school YouTube video, but like bringing a kind of modern, interest in making sure it's good for the audience. It's just genuinely interesting to watch. It's stupid. So I sent you Piss Bottle Mystery. You sent me a Cinema Verite masterpiece of a pawn shop owner who's befriended by a somewhat sociopathic Aboriginal man.
Right behind
Yeah,
you.
you're going to give me $100 for it.
$100 and an iPod.
But that's marked $200.
Point being,
Who kind of falls into his orbit, and then you watch as they both complement each other quite well in the day-to-day operations of this pawn shop in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So it's at the other end of the spectrum, but weirdly kind of similar in a like kind of slice of life sort of way.
Yeah, very humane.
there's no difference in between us. It's man that makes a difference.
You are too touchy, my son.
Neither of them come off as good people, but you kind of like them for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it felt like sitting in the corner of a shop on like a really busy day. It almost felt like watching like one of those concept films, exactly 1 hour and a half inside a shop, and when all these crazy things happen. So I'm going to give that one, honestly, like as a person who makes stuff in that field and who's thought about like no narrative fly in the waller, I really did enjoy that. I would say like 4.5 stars.
That's a big rating.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would give the piss bottle the same rating. It's almost perfect.
Speaking of custom art and artisanal products, we often get asked to customize people's code.
That was an awful segue.
Do you want to do a bit of segue? Do it.
Okay.
Piss bottle. Piss bottle, piss bottle.
Okay. It has to be piss bottle related.
Yeah.
No, I don't have one.
That was an awful segue.
Well, you don't always need a segue.
Speaking of putting things in containers.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're going to be addressing here today on the Fitty Host podcast. So we often get messages from people who want something to change on their website. Sometimes that thing can be changed, and sometimes it can only be changed if you change the code. Can you give an example? Like
the character limit for your toots in Mastodon. For the longest time, Mastodon has been pretty kind of adamant about this is the limit. Like, we're not going to let people customize this.
And so if you're a person who wants to host Mastodon, and you're like, oh, I want to be able to write out an entire blog post,
What you have to do is go in the code, find that line that says the post limit, and then change it. Most things that are kind of flexible and expected to be something that people might want or not want, they make it easily accessible through something we call like environment variables, where it's not directly in the panel where anybody could be able to change it, but it's up to the server operator to change it, and they don't need to do any code change. So examples of this are the limited federation mode, I think they call it. So basically you can say, well, I want Mastodon, but I don't want to federate, or it's Mastodon for an organization that's like a school, or is just for internal things. You also have the option to force a language. Best example I have is Club, which is a French.
Francophone.
Yeah, it's for French language, mainly Quebec. They enforce that it's in French, just so that anybody who finds Club don't go like, oh, it's for everyone. No, it's you speak French there. That's how it works.
There's basically like 3 tiers almost of settings.
Yeah.
There's the settings that like a logged in user can change, and a lot of the time a point of those settings are it will be more per user or per administrator.
Yeah.
For example, a block list. Then below that, there's these environmental variables, and that's more for your host, like us, to change. And then like the lowest level is like literal changes to the code. And sometimes there's things that are in one bucket which you'd kind of prefer were in the other.
Yeah.
It goes both ways, actually. There are settings that are exposed to the user on some of the things we host, which as a managed host, it would actually be kind of nice if the user couldn't change them, if they were configured by us. So as an example, PeerTube has settings related to how encoders work and how live streaming works. And it's actually more dependent on your server hardware. So a user can go in and say like, oh, I want to have like 50 live streams simultaneously. And we're in the situation where we're kind of forced to overwrite the setting and reset it back to the setting that it should be so that people don't get in trouble and exceed what their plan would actually allow. That's just a fact of life, but it is an interesting challenge to explain to users why some of the things which it's like we agree too. We think it's strange too. We would prefer that they let you make that change as well. Why some of those things are just the way they are, unless we were prepared to maintain a separate branch of Mastodon just for every client. So we have some examples of people like that, right, Victor?
Yeah. Again, Club is the best example that we have. Like they have their own fork of Mastodon, and it's part of a contract. Like, we're gonna host their custom fork of Mastodon. We take care of like the normal updates. So like every Mastodon update, we merge into code.
So they give us a fork. They say like, here is the repository with what we would like to go up online. And as part of a contract, we maintain a staging server where you can put the code up, make sure nothing breaks. And when they want to change the code, there's this process that's triggered of us building a custom container, putting it up on the server. So it's managed. We're still there if it starts to create 500 errors, and to make sure things are running well, running backups, setting up a CDN so that things run quickly, all that. But the code itself can be tailored by the client. What are the upsides and downsides of doing this?
Obvious upside is that you can have your custom code. So anything custom that you want to have in Mastodon, you can have it. Downside of that is you're diverting from the main branch Mastodon, so things can go wrong. And then if you have like certain bugs, then it's harder to debug, or then you have to realize that, oh yeah, things might break. And then basically you kind of have to be ready for things to break and then figuring out and then fixing those breakage would be on you to fix, or we offer, like, we have the day rate if you want us to fix it. That's something also we can do. You have to kind of be aware that as soon as you introduce custom code, then it's kind of your responsibility to test it, make sure it works, make sure there's no bugs, that it's stable, that it's not going to use crazy amount of resource. Like, there's all this kind of maintenance that goes into having custom code.
Once a month, we'll bring them up to date with the latest branch. There are sometimes months where there's a few patches and sometimes months where there's nothing. So we just kind of like cycle back through once a month and pull in the latest stable branch that's come out and integrate it in with the custom code that they've written, provided that they haven't in the meantime gone in and made some changes, like we'd like to throw in a new login system to let people log in using single sign-on with Google or something like that. Then we'll just bring it in and do the update for them. And I assume, like, over the longer term, that we may be able to get the cost down by perhaps having a white label version of Mastodon or something like that. But it would really require enough clients who want exactly the same thing changed. So sure, a lot of people want the character limit lifted to a different number. I could see creating a fork of a code where we turn that into an env variable of some sort. But the truth is, there's always these little edge cases. So I could see a situation where we're maintaining a fork of the white label version.
Fork of a fork of a fork.
Because someone's like, I want the footer to be removed, or I want, so we'll see. I think we're aiming to just bring in enough clients who are looking for this sort of thing and then spot to see if there is a kind of an overlap or something that we could build. At a certain point, it would be less time for us to maintain a fork if it meant that, say, 50 clients just used the fork.
If we had a white label and every client that wanted custom code, or, I mean, at this point, we probably wouldn't even offer custom code. We would just say, we offer this kind of white label Mastodon that everybody can use. I guess we could still do custom code, but then probably most client wouldn't have a reason to use custom code if we did have that.
Yeah, I think we'd probably go like, what does it cost us to maintain this white label fork of Mastodon? And then split that amongst the clients who used it basically to cover the cost.
Especially if we have like maybe 10 clients that all want the same changes, then at this point, it doesn't make sense to go one by one, merge in their changes. Like, they just all use the same thing.
That's one of the reasons why you might look at getting a custom contract with us, I guess. And the sort of thing which larger institutions who want a little bit more control, I mean, the language thing is a great example, actually, because in Quebec, things have to be French first. And if the code base is defaulting to English, you're not in compliance, so you might run into issues, even if they're just political issues with people being irritated that they land on a website and it's not showing things. And the language they're expecting to see, municipalities and institutions and that sort of thing here, custom code might make sense. Anything else to add?
No, I think so. I think we covered everything. The main request...
Definitely covered everything.
The main request, well, what do you mean?
We covered everything from piss bottles to the municipal government.
Yeah. Hopefully in the future, when we have like 1 million client that want custom branding and everything, we could do a white label.
I think it's mainly also just making sure that we don't end up in this situation where we're maintaining a separate branch of Mastodon, or at least like and this is mainly just avoiding people getting confused, being like, oh, it's not Mastodon, it's something.
Yeah.
So no, it's Mastodon. It's just we let you change this.
It's not Mastodon, it's truth.social.
Truth.social is a great example of a fork, right?
Yeah.
Where they've changed 1,000 things.
And they try really hard to say that they're not Mastodon.
So I hope that covers this kind of quirk of Fediverse software and realities of going with a managed host. If you have a particular piece of code that you're wishing was more of an environmental variable, drop it in the comments. We'd be interested to hear and see what sorts of commonalities there are.
Little tiny quirks of Mastodon or software that you wish they had, like not big changes, but like little things.
The little things are something we might be able to do something about for customers in the future. Thanks for watching or listening. If you're out there on PureTube and on YouTube, if you're watching the delayed version, and we will see you out there on the Fediverse.